Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohammad Farhan Sopyan. I'm studying at UIN majoring in Mathematics Education. Here, I will briefly explain about what is a parallel line. Before getting into the material, let's look at the following picture. If we look at the pictures, are there any similarities that we can conclude? What is the conclusion? Yes, the equation is in the picture. They have parallel lines. For more details, let's look at the pictures one by one. Look at railroad tracks. The railroad tracks have parallel lines that run along the railroad tracks. This line will always be parallel because if they are not parallel, then the train will not be able to run on the tracks. Maybe if they really are curved in the train track, but they will always be the same and stay parallel to each other. And now we see the picture of the door. The door has parallel lines, namely the length and width lines. There will always be a length because if they are not parallel, the door may look weird, and even if the door does not have parallel lines, it will look like it is not an ordinary door. Doors may have different shapes, but how the top and side walls adjust, isn't that weird? Next, let's look at the window. The window also has parallel lines to balance the shape of the window. Indeed, today many windows have various shapes or other interesting shapes. However, in general, windows have parallel lines as shown in the picture. Starting from small, medium, and large windows, almost all have parallel lines. It's a different story if the window has a different shape, such as not a square or rectangle. And the last, let's look at the chair. Like doors, railroad tracks, and windows also have parallel lines. It can be proven that the chairs have the same length and width or parallel lines. The lines are parallel lines that aim to balance the chair when used. Imagine if the chair does not have parallel support. Then when the person using the chair immediately loses balance and can fall while sitting. Talking about the based on different chairs, but the chairs have the same leg support and of course will always have lines that are parallel to each other. So whatever the shape of the chair, the leg support will definitely remain in the form of parallel lines. Now, let's try to show which lines are parallel in the image. The black line is part of the parallel line on a door. It can be seen that there is an upper edge and a lower edge, then there is also a right side and a left side. They can also be called parallel line on a door. Then the blue line is part of the parallel line on the window. Just like the parallel line for the door is on the top edge, bottom edge, then right and left side. And there are also several parallel lines on the window frame that we can see. And on the purple line, there is a chair that also has a parallel line between the back, base, and also the legs of the chair, which are parallel lines, and of course will not intersect each other. A different story with a folding chair, where this chair legs can cross each other even though the chair legs don't will cut each other or collide. Finally, on the pink line, there is a railroad track where the two lines on the railroad track are always parallel lines along the railroad tracks. Later, the train will always be on top of two parallel lines following the rails until the destination arrives. There may be lines that intersect later, but in a railway line, two core lines in the middle will always be parallel and will not disappear. With the description that has been described previously, it is hoped that we can understand a little what parallel lines are. And now, let's get to the heart of the discussion about parallel lines. The properties of a line in geometric plane are determined by its position with respect to other lines, which consist of straight lines, intersecting lines, perpendicular lines, and overlapping lines. Here will be explained about parallel lines. A parallel line is a position of two lines on a plane that does not have a point of intersection even though the two lines are extended. In geometrical parallelism, the lines will never meet each other because they have the same slope or gradient. Parallel lines do not have to be the same length. Let's go to the example. Lines A, B, and C, D are examples of parallel positions because the two lines do not intersect even though the lines are extended. The picture above is a simple example of parallel lines. Are you still confused here? Okay, let's try exercise and we can answer together. It's a complete cube with 8 letters. Let's define a parallel line there. What is a parallel line there? The parallel line is AB and CD, AB and GH, AB and EF, CD and EF, CD and GH, GH and EF, AE and BF, AE and CG, AE and BH, BF and CG, BF and DH, CG and DH, AD and BC, AD and FG, AD and EH, BC and FG, BC and EH, and the last FG and EH. Well, it is hoped that by studying a little material about parallel lines, we can find out what parallel lines are and what are examples of parallel lines. Hopefully, it can add to your knowledge, and we apologize if there are words or misunderstandings that are intentional or unintentional. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.